Good morning, everybody. I'm Deplorable Bruce, otherwise known as Bruce Burleson, otherwise known as a major insomniac tonight. I don't know what it is, but I went to sleep last night at about 10 p.m. and I just tossed and turned and I just could not sleep. Anybody ever have a problem like that? They're just like, "Ugh, I can't frickin' sleep." Well, that's my situation tonight. Let me get closer to the camera here. And so I figured, well, you know what? If I'm going to be up, then I might as well be talking to you guys about stuff that I think is important that's going on. Going on with Donald Trump and some of the situations that we're starting to see. I want to talk in particular about the likely FBI pick, Joe Lieberman, for FBI director. Now, I remember back in the 2000 election when Al Gore picked Joe Lieberman to be his running mate. And at the time, I was a leftist, liberal, sort of mishmash of all kinds of left of center politics. And I thought, oh, this is a great idea. You know, Al Gore can win this election because he's got Joe on, and Joe's more of a moderate. Well, all that's water under the bridge. It's apparently part of Joe's, Lieberman's resume for the possible position of FBI director. So we engaged in some discussion on Facebook about Lieberman and whether this is a wise choice, I guess, for the president to be picking somebody like this for FBI director. Why it might be and why it might not be. There are pros and cons, just like there are pros and cons to everything we do in life. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm not going to get through this without my coffee, so here we go. Oh, all right. Colombian coffee, let me tell you. You can't beat it. So Joe Lieberman. I did a little bit of reading in Wikipedia about him earlier tonight because I thought, well, I hadn't really thought much about this guy for years because, he did this, he did that, he was the vice presidential candidate. There were all kinds of different things going on, with him since then. Let's try this again. I'm not used to doing Bruce's commute inside my man cave, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm a little disorganized. Ugh. I've got crap falling all over the plate. Whatever. Okay, anyway. Lieberman. Now, the disadvantages of having Lieberman be the director of the FBI, to me, are pretty clear. He is, to me, clearly not somebody who is going to do what we Trump supporters have been arguing needs to be done since the beginning of the Trump campaign last year. You all remember it. You guys all remember it. You remember it on social media. You remember the rallies. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up. That was the argument. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. Frankly, I don't think we're going to get that with Joe Lieberman. I really don't. I think he's more of a... His politics are interesting because the guy has kind of sort of been a Democrat, but he's been also kind of sort of an independent Democrat. And at times, he has gone towards the conservative side on certain political issues. So this guy's all over the page politically. He always has been. I mean, pro-choice with the abortion, but also, maybe occasionally a little, maybe hawkish with the defense and everything else. It's a little bit strange. He's an intelligent guy, I think, but a little odd in terms of how do you pigeonhole this guy politically. I don't think he's going to go, here's the thing, here's the downside, okay? I'm going to give you the downside first. I don't think Lieberman is going to go after Hillary. I just don't see that happening. He's not Trey Gowdy, who we all, I think, thought if he got that job, see you later, Pinocchio, which is what I've been calling her. So here's the other side, okay? There's always two sides to the issue. why would Trump want this guy to be FBI director? Frankly, I don't think he really wants Joe Lieberman to be FBI director, regardless of what he may say and everything else. I think, I've been talking about this on Facebook in a couple of different groups and a few different forums and stuff like this. It seems to me that there are certain reasons why this may be the thing for Trump to do in the here and now, appointing him FBI director. One of those things is that there's an awful lot of attacks going on against our president. I was talking about this the other day in my Bruce's COMMUTE segment. Trump is under attack from all sides. He's under attack from the deep state. He's under attack from the Democrats in Congress. He's under attack from Republicans in Congress. And you idiots know who you are, and you need to knock it off. You need to get behind your president, but that's a whole different video, okay? We're going to get to that at some point. So that's all going on. So the president is literally right now completely besieged by the swamp that has surrounded him in his presidential situation in the White House, in the Washington milieu, if you want to call it that. So I think the dilemma for the president may have been that if he picks somebody like Trey Gowdy, in the current climate of what's going on with everybody trying to take him down, there would be a minimal at best chance that he would be approved, that they would approve him for the position, that he would sail through Congress, whatever, minimal. And if he had picked somebody like Sheriff Clark, who I guess is being slated for a different position in the administration, I don't know, I keep hearing about that, that definitely probably wouldn't have happened right now either. Maybe if there was a more conciliatory approach towards the president around a bunch of different things, that might happen. And by the way, the president gave the swamp everything they wanted. I mean, look at the omnibus spending bill. Everything they wanted. The only thing that was in it for the president was a small increase in defense spending. And of course, this budget only goes until September, but hey, it's 4 months of, it's 4 months is 4 months. But getting back to Lieberman, it may, under present circumstances, be, the reality is that the president needed to pick somebody who he could get approved by Congress for the position. Again, Trey Gowdy, not going to happen, I don't think. Somebody like Sheriff Clark, not right now, not with what's going on in Washington. So along comes Joe Lieberman, who's kind of like nobody's heard from this guy for a long time. He retired from politics 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't know, maybe he's been writing books or on a lecture circuit or whatever these politicians do when they retire in quotation marks. Do they ever really retire? Here's the thing, the guy is 75 years old. So yeah, I don't know. What some people define as retirement, other people define as we keep going and we keep going, like the Energizer Bunny, whatever. Anyway, Lieberman's mixed politics in some ways makes him he may be viewed by Congress as being a centrist figure that has maybe a little bit of something in it for everyone. Okay, the conservatives might like him about certain things, whatever, The liberals will like him because he's tended to caucus with the Democrats when he was a senator and prior to that as well. So I think that's what's going on, folks. If you read my Facebook page, you saw my post where my initial reaction to Lieberman was like, oh my God, no, we can't, this is not something we can do. But guys, I think we have to take the long view on this. We really do. We got to take the long view. We have to realize that the Trump administration, the president is being besieged. He needs to fill this position pretty quickly. He just fired Comey about a week ago. So I mean, you can't just have an FBI that's rudderless, being run by some half-assed bureaucrat number 2 or whatever. So it's really important that the president fill this position. So my guess is it's probably going to be Lieberman. Do we like it? Not particularly. Will we live? Guys, this is all about living to fight another day. All right, somebody posted on my Facebook page, and I completely disagree with it. It says, this is over, the president is completely sold out to the Democrats. That's bullshit. He is not sold out to the Democrats. Again, this is all about him being besieged. The whole Russian thing, the whole Comey thing, the whole Flynn thing, all of this crap all going on at once. It's all bullshit, okay? The president is on track to meeting his campaign promises. He is on track to doing everything he can to advance his agenda. Now, I wrote a letter, goes to show how tired I am. I wrote a letter. I wrote an article, actually, for Liberty Clarion Call that's titled, Trump's Accomplishments. I encourage you to read it because it outlines quite a few of them. Despite everything that's been going on, despite the media obsession about his this, that, and the other thing, despite the swamp, encroaching in on him, he still managed to pass quite a number of executive actions. Quite a number of bills have been passed. A lot of the regulations have already been rolled back. These things that have held businesses back from expanding, and not to mention Neil Gorsuch. We can't forget about that. The president already has a lot of accomplishments, guys, and he's moving forward. He is, I believe, my sense, and I follow my gut with this shit, let me tell you. My sense is, my gut instinct is the president is going to weather this. He's going to get through it. He's going to move forward. He's going to advance the agenda. The next thing is going to be tax reform, which I think really needs to happen because that's really a big deal for the country. If he doesn't get the corporate tax rates down to the 15% that he said he was going to do, then we're not going to have the sort of economic boom that I think we all want to see. So, guys, we could panic over this whole Lieberman thing. And by the way, there's nothing saying that the president has to appoint this guy permanently. Look, he's already fired one FBI director. Maybe he takes on Lieberman for a little while until, everything kind of like calms down, and then sort of encourages him to say, well, you know what, Joe, you're 75 years old. Maybe it's time to really retire, sayonara or whatever, and put somebody else in there. We don't know. But right now, this is what he needs to do to get an FBI director in place so that at least there's somebody manning the fort at the FBI, somebody who is probably capable on some level of doing that job. You know what I mean? It's at least making sure investigations into crimes and everything else are being done. So that's my spiel for tonight, guys. And again, I'm running on absolutely zero sleep. I don't know what the hell happened to me tonight. I went to bed and sleep, forget it, more coffee. But which always goes down the wrong way. One more thing. I want to strongly encourage you guys to read Liberty Clarion Call. It's libertyclarioncall.com. I want to strongly encourage you guys to write for Liberty Clarion Call. There is a page on there where you can look at for instructions for submitting. It's really just it's a matter of sending me an email, libertyclarioncall@gmail.com, as long as it's not absolute, chaotic garbage and it makes sense and it's from a conservative perspective. Or libertarian, I've put some libertarian stuff up there myself. You know what, guys? This is not about me and my, hobby website. Well, maybe it is to some extent or whatever. I really like doing this. It's also about you. Liberty Clarion Call is about seizing the narrative, guys. We need to seize the narrative. Don't wait for the networks to do it. Breitbart, I think, is doing a good job at some of this. Town Hall, One America News, all of these things. But I think that we, the people, need to take on some of this too. We need to start building websites, getting our message out, writing, confronting the swamp, doing it ourselves. And you know what makes this the most effective? It's because it's not coming from talking heads. It's not coming from professional journalists. It's coming from us. We, the people who voted for Donald Trump. We are the ones who need to seize the narrative. And that is why I started Liberty Clarion Call a few months ago, and it's starting to pick up a little bit. We need writers, we need material, we need people to get the word out, we need all that kind of stuff. whatever you can do, guys. Let's make this happen. I'm depending on you just like you guys are depending on me. And that, I'm running out of steam here. Happy Friday. I'm off to see Metallica tonight, so, you know, if you don't hear from me for a day or two, it's because I can't hear, I can't think, I can't, you know, the noise from the music and everything else. So anyway, yeah, we all got to have fun too, right? Anyway, that's it for tonight. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos, and I will be doing another one of these very soon. We will be talking about other issues. We will be building Liberty Clarion Call, and we are going to be seizing the narrative. Good night, everybody, or good morning.